Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. As most of you know, I absolutely love me some Bauhaus watches. And as most of you know, I actually own the Nomos Orion Anthracite. Well, the time has finally come. Tonight I'm going to show you what it's like to unbox this watch, and I'll do a full review of it. So let us begin. I was introduced to Nomos by a friend of mine, and we actually spent a weekend getaway looking at Nomos, drooling over them, and discussing both Nomos and Stova. We perused their website and discussed which pieces we would buy if we had money for them. And the Orion was not one of my choices. However, a couple years later, I ended up blowing a huge chunk of my watch fund on a Nomos, and I decided to go for the Orion after all because I liked its slightly more elegant case and I really liked the black dial with silver indices. However, when it arrived, I realized that this watch is 100% dress watch, and I've never regretted the purchase. Let's flip the camera around and unbox it and take a close look at this amazing watch. The Nomos Orion ships in this great looking wooden box. It's nice and bare bones, kind of rough finished. Basic hinges there. And a cool little clasp that holds it closed. The font on top is great. Inside we have simply an envelope and the watch itself. Inside the envelope, congratulations, an instruction manual, and the card, 1/29/2020, fond memories of that year, and there's the watch itself. Now, one thing that you'll notice if you've looked at this watch online, when it's in person or on camera like this, it looks nothing like the photographs that you typically see of it, in that the indices kind of vanish a bit. In the photographs, they're really clear and it makes the watch look far more Bauhausy than it is in person. This is 100% dress watch. Alright, let's get the watch out of here. It arrived in a sticker sandwich. Perfect. Alright, let's take a look at the strap, work our way to the watch, and then I'll put it on the wrist. Now, one thing I have to say about Nomos is the straps they ship their watches on are the best straps I've ever seen a watch on stock. And I mean, these are shell Cordovan. They aren't quite as nice as the Rios bands, but they're pretty close. I like the green on the underside. They are handmade. And you can kind of tell with the stitching. It has a really great quality to it, and I would attribute that to it being handmade. Now, full disclosure, this is not the strap that it shipped on, but it is a Nomos strap. It's identical to the one that this watch came with, only it's smaller, it's shorter. I've swapped out the buckle as a micro adjustment so it fits a bit better. Very cool. The lugs on this watch are really long. And I know that right after I purchased it, as I was looking at it online, watching reviews of it, and doing my usual obsessing as I wait for the watch to arrive. That was when I noticed just how long they are and how large of a gap there is between the watch and the lugs. But when it's in person, you really don't notice it so much. I'm actually having difficulty right now showing just how extreme that is. I'm trying to get the light in there. It looks far more extreme in the photographs online. There you go. You can kind of see that there. But when you're wearing this watch and the natural shadows are there, you really don't notice that gap at all. It has never bothered me. These are drilled lugs, which is always nice. And they're really elegant looking. They're kind of half Bauhaus, half dress watch, in that they taper in nicely like a dress watch, but they're kind of squared off a little bit. You know, they have hard edges, kind of like you see in Bauhaus watches. The case shape on this watch is amazing. It's just nice and rounded. It's a very thin watch, which is perfect for a dress watch. And looking at the crown, you may recognize this crown from my Best Crowns video. There'll be a link to that in the description below. If you look very closely, you'll notice that Nomos is actually etched on there. I didn't even know that was the case until I did that crown video. And operating this crown, it is buttery smooth. Experiencing this watch is where you really, really feel its price point. I mean, it feels like a quality watch when you're winding it, when you're setting the time. Popping out the crown. You'll notice the seconds hand stopped. This is the alpha movement based on one of my favorite movements, the ETA 7001. Only this movement hacks. And with the little markers on the subdial, you could actually get a fairly accurate time setting on this watch, which is great if you're using application-based timeographers like on your phone. That is a necessity. Pop this back in. And looking at the dial, it has a great texture to it. Excellent charcoal-y black color to it. The hands are Bauhaus for sure. Super basic stick hands, no counterweights except in the sub-seconds there. Batten markers, but they're all chrome, so they vanish like I pointed out. Even the minutes track kind of vanishes in certain light. The branding on here is super minimal, just the name. That is a brilliant dial. The crystal on this watch has a very slight dome to it, which I think was an excellent choice. Sometimes flat crystals on Bauhaus-y or dressy pieces like this kind of exaggerate the size of the case, although this is a small case at 35, so I don't think that would be a problem even then. And the Stova Antia does have a flat crystal, and it makes that watch wear larger. However, it also has a cylindrical case, but the elegance that this domed crystal gives this watch is great. Every little detail just adds to the elegance and dressiness of this watch. Looking at the case back, we see an exhibition case back showing off that amazing movement. That is so gorgeous. Look at those. Look at the spirals. Just beautiful. And it's cool how the whole case back is one fluid curving dome in itself. This watch is just brilliant. Alright, let me take my Palliot off of my wrist And we'll see what this looks like when you're wearing it. So here is the Nomos Anthracite on my 7-inch wrist. That is a no-nonsense dress watch, and it's absolutely beautiful. Those long lugs give it far more wrist presence than you think it would. This watch feels like you're wearing a 40mm watch, in my opinion, but I'm used to smaller watches, so bear that in mind. As for the specifications on this watch, the case size is 35mm, the case height is 8.7mm, the lug to lug is 44.4mm, the case material is stainless steel, the crystal is sapphire, and the movement is the in-house Alpha based on the ETA 7001. So there you have it, the absolutely gorgeous Nomos Orion Anthracite. This watch is so elegant and amazing. I still absolutely love it. Thanks for watching.